on the News Channel 5 network. This is the plus side of Nashville.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Tawanda Coleman. You know, for anyone looking for what's new in theater in Nashville, Actors Bridge is always ready and willing to show you first. Known for bringing the city the newest, most innovative performances, Actors Bridge prides itself on being, quote, theater with guts. They perform the vagina monologues, okay? So what we're going to find out today is about some of the productions and activities the Actors Bridge Ensemble has planned as they celebrate their big 20th anniversary this year. It's going to be really great. But first, we want to discuss a real problem in some of the East Nashville schools, at least 6 of them. Those that have high numbers of minority and economically disadvantaged students also have high rates of literacy problems. The students are really struggling with reading and writing. East Nashville Hope Exchange is an organization addressing this problem with hopes of solving it. And joining me now is the Executive Director, Brandy Fenderson. Welcome.
Thanks, Tawanda, for having me.
It is my pleasure. I think a lot of people out there may be like me, Brandy. Had no idea about these numbers going on with some of these schools over in East Nashville. You and I know that a child's ability to read and write can affect their school and their life beyond school.
Absolutely.
So it's important that we get some of these rates up. Let's talk about exactly the schools we're referring to in East Nashville and these crazy statistics that we found out about them.
Sure. In East Nashville, Hope Exchange serves the Stratford and the Maplewood cluster of Metro Nashville Public Schools. Inside of those clusters, we target 6 schools: Caldwell, Hattie Cotton, Glenn, Kip Kirkpatrick, Warner, and we're also working with Ross ELC.
Okay. Well, what the statistics showed, and I wanted to read this off because I want to make sure we got this right, Brandy. Within these 6 clusters, there's a combined proficiency rate for reading and language arts of only 21%.
That's right.
That's correct.
That's
21%.
Right. Those schools have an average of 21% of students reading proficiently.
Wow. That's what I mean when I say that that's pretty alarming. And there was another example that you sent me that I just shook my head at. In East Nashville, there are schools at opposite ends of the street, probably even less than a mile apart from each other, with different types of students. One is far ahead as far as statistics go literacy-wise. Share that example with us.
Approximately 80% of students at one school at one end of this mile-long stretch of road are reading proficiently, whereas at the other end is the exact opposite. Only about 20% are reading proficiently.
So who makes up the school of the students who are reading 80% proficiency?
The ones that are reading 80% are primarily white and are not economically disadvantaged students.
Opposite end of the students, of the street, the students that are not reading so well.
Just down the road, it's the exact opposite. It is primarily minority students and also primarily economically disadvantaged.
And so that's where you all come in. You see this wide gap, and you know that's what's interesting about East Nashville. You know,
Absolutely.
The whole neighborhood as a whole is sort of that way, isn't it?
New Nashville.
New Nashville, you might say. But you started out as a summer program, and then about 3 years ago you became year-round, which is really, really good. And you're really dedicated to helping these students become better readers. You're trying to tackle it threefold: home, school, and community.
Absolutely.
Where does it start at the school level?
Well, we like you said, we started as a summer program. That is the obvious place where there's a gap whenever you think of the school level. Schools end in May and they start back again in August. So what's happening in June and July? Well, statistics show that the students that come from low-income households are falling behind, on average 2 to 3 months in their reading ability.
Wow.
At these schools. So that's what we call the achievement gap. And over years, that adds up.
Yeah, it does.
It does. So what we're doing at the school level is, number one, we're working to combat that achievement gap so that when they come back in August, they've not only not fallen behind, but they've moved ahead.
Yeah.
And we do that because we have certified teachers that are working with them. We have pre and post assessment that shows us exactly where to work and exactly what difference we made with them.
Wow.
Then on top of that, we're also working with the schools to do some tutoring during the school year to try to keep moving ahead, especially those that are still behind. We want to keep helping them move ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about a 6-week summer program that you all have planned. And within that 6 weeks program, these students are going to put together a newspaper.
They are.
Talk about that.
Well, I will say every year, our theme is my family, my community, my world.
Oh.
Our goal is that through literacy and through also projects that they do, arts and humanities projects, that these students will learn to be an active member of their community and think of themselves as going on to be an active member of our world. So this year we're excited to use the newspaper as our sort of organizing element. Okay, so each week the students will focus on one section of the newspaper, and they will also, throughout the course of the 6 weeks, create an 8-page newspaper.
Oh my goodness, I love that idea because they will actually have hands-on experience.
Yes.
Something tangible that they'll be able to see.
Definitely.
They'll be able to interview.
They will. So each week has a different focus. So the very first week will be our local section, and so we will look at the students interviewing people in their very own neighborhood. And that section of the newspaper will highlight things happening in their neighborhood and people of note in their neighborhood. Other sections include business.
Yeah.
So that week they'll be looking at things that are happening in the business world, interviewing people in the business world, and writing the articles for that section.
Wow. It's wonderful that you all are reaching out to these cluster schools in East Nashville, but it's not just the East Nashville problem. And you all have been partnering and working with some schools over in North Nashville.
Well, we have been working more with people in the community in North Nashville. So we are working with 18th Avenue Enrichment, Family Enrichment Center, and the Bordeaux North Nashville Chamber of Commerce, among some other partners, New Covenant Christian Church, to take our model that we have been using successfully and to implement it in their summer program and help them to have a quality literacy program as well during the summer.
I'm so very glad to hear that. One of the things too I got really excited about is you're teaching these young people business skills. So you're going to have them during this summer program to come up with a lemonade stand.
Yes, yes. So during the week where we're focusing on business, we're going to use a lemonade stand as our project, but the students are going to write the business plan for that, and then at the end of the week on Friday they will be having a lemonade stand at the turnip truck, and they'll be raising money through that, and the part I like the best is they'll vote on what charity that they want to give the funds to.
I love that idea. So we've talked a little bit about how the school and the community can help these students. How do you help the parents help them?
Yes, this is very important.
Yeah.
They go to school during the school year and they come to us in the summer, but who's their number one teacher?
Their parents or their family members.
That's right, that's right. So often our families are not really sure how to move their kids ahead. Yeah. In fact, they're not necessarily aware that their schools are not performing. They don't know that statistic, that only 21% are reading. Right. So we work with the families on a few things. We work on advocacy. We talk to them about this information, and we help to give them a voice that they need to speak about what they need for their children. But we also work with the families on basic reading skills, such as phonics and sight words. We help them to understand these little nuances of working with their children with reading. And I would say most importantly, we help develop a habit and a culture of reading in the home.
Because that's where it starts, I think. If you see your parents reading,
that's right.
if they encourage you, sit down with your book and read, then you will continue that. You brought in a few books. I know your background is as a teacher, but even a few simple Dr. Seuss books that you can check out from the library.
Absolutely. So we also send a book home with our students every day of our program.
Wow.
Yes. So I brought a few to highlight. So last year's program, we had a week where we focused on sustainability and the environment, and one of the classes read The Lorax, Dr. Seuss book. We also had a week where we focused on sports, and they had the book The Soccer Fence, which is also about South Africa and apartheid in South Africa and soccer.
Really interesting,
Yes. Another week we focused on how are parts of the world the same, how are they different, and a book that we had that week was Ruby's Wish. So this talks about a young girl who in her culture was not able to go to school based on her cultural standards, and how she fought to go to school. And so this gave the children an amazing opportunity to see how fortunate they are to have the right to go to school.
Because not everybody does, and they do get a chance to see that. These are all great books. What you're doing with the East Nashville Hope Exchange is remarkable and wonderful. I commend you, and I definitely am already saying I want to volunteer to be a guest reader. If folks want to find out information, perhaps they want to volunteer, they want to help make a donation or whatever, what do they need to do?
I think the best thing is to go to our website, www.enhopeexchange.org. We're also very active on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to have them join us on there. On the website, you can find our Friends of ENHE program. That's a great way to contribute. You'll also find our volunteer opportunities there.
Wonderful. It's been so nice talking with you, Brandy, and learning more about what you all do. Thank you for the great work.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. Well, up next, they have given us innovative and provocative performances over the course of their 20-year history. We'll find out about the world premiere performances the Actor Bridge Ensemble has planned as they celebrate their anniversary year. Stay with us.